organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, Fire on the East Side. We'll tell you how one Iowa City building went up in flames.
And the new diversity plans from the Iowa City School District were approved by the City Council. See what this means in the future.
And in sports, it's a busy week on the hardwood for both the men and the women. We have the latest in Hawkeye Hoops.
That's all coming your way next.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for tuning in to your Wednesday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Muriel Kone.
And I'm Iowan Simic.
A fire engulfed a dental lab on Iowa City's east side late Tuesday night, and a grease fire is to blame. A woman who lived at the back of the building reportedly fell asleep while cooking French fries, causing the entire building to catch up on fire. The lab was closed at the time, and the woman escaped unharmed. No other injuries were reported. Brian Hartley, who is the vice president of the lab, said everything had been shut off when the lab closed. He told the Daily Iowan, quote, "I turned off all the Bunsen burners and the machines. It's just silly because it was French fries from the back apartment," end quote. The fire has been categorized by the Iowa City Fire Department as a total loss.
An announcement Tuesday will come as welcome news to many immigrants. President Obama signed an executive order in June allowing children of illegal immigrants to gain citizenship. These individuals, known as Dreamers, were not able to obtain Iowa driver's licenses before today. An Iowa Department of Transportation statement released Wednesday said officials will now allow Dreamers to get driver's licenses. Iowa Governor Terry Branstad previously went on record saying Dreamers should be permitted to receive licenses. Read more about the change in Thursday's edition of the Daily Iowan.
Preparing for the ACT can be a stressful time in a student's life, and getting the perfect score is what every student dreams of. Mackenzie Cole was one of the few students to get a 36 on her ACT.
I'll be totally honest, I didn't process how much of a big deal it was at first. Like, I was at home and I was like, oh, I should probably check and see if I've gotten my ACT scores back. And I'm like, oh, if I've got a 36, that's good. And then I kind of went on with my day.
A junior at Iowa City High School, Cole has already taken the test twice, in 7th grade and freshman year, and both times she got a 32. Now her test score has gone by up to 4 points. One key to Cole's success is that she didn't get test anxiety, which helps her think clearly. She prepared for the test by taking a practice test online and has studied 10 to 12 hours the week before the exam. And Cole has one piece of advice for other students.
One thing that really helped me is knowing that the science section isn't about knowing science, it's about knowing how to, like, read graphs and diagrams.
Cole plans on majoring in biochemistry when she goes to college. And still to come on Daily Iowan TV, Seattle administrators are reacting to a local newspaper's funding on the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics.
And in sports, the men's comeback in Columbus fell a bit short last night. We'll recap all of last night's action. But first, let's go to Mary LaPlaca for a look at this week's weather. Mary?
Thanks, Ivana. Well, the good news is that we'll be getting out of the bitter cold weather and heating up a couple degrees later in the week. Tonight, just make sure to bundle up with a lot of blankets since it'll be a low of 1 degree. Tomorrow morning, it'll be a low of 3 degrees and it will reach up to 15 degrees in the afternoon and 17 degrees by night. Now, as we look into our 6-day forecast, Iowa City will get a bit warmer. Friday will be sunny and a high of 32 degrees, and clouds will roll in on Saturday as we will reach a high of 26 degrees. Be prepared on Sunday for some light snow and a high of 30 degrees. Monday will reach 37 degrees. However, Tuesday will be in a treat with a high of 47 degrees. That's all I have for the weather. Back to you at the desk.
And UI spokesman Tom Moore defended the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics' food waste after an article published by the Cedar Rapids Gazette stated the hospital puts about $180,000 worth of food in the garbage. During an interview held at Daily Iowan TV Wednesday afternoon, Moore stressed waste product is much lower than the national average, saying, quote, that represents less than 1% of our overall food budget. That represents about a 12% discard rate, which is lower than the national average, which is 40%. We're committed to reducing waste in every regard, and this is an issue that we will review further to determine what opportunities exist to our waste. End quote. The amount of food wasted was recorded between December 2011 and November 2012.
The Iowa City Council voted unanimously Tuesday night to support the school district's controversial diversity plan. Daily Iowan TV's Rebecca Swibes has the story.
Iowa City Council officials announced Tuesday night that they will support the school board in its effort to address socioeconomic differences throughout the district.
When you hit certain levels of poverty within a school, that the dynamic within the school suffers, the outcomes for students suffer.
The school board proposed the diversity policy, which would balance the number of minority students throughout the Iowa City Community School District. The plan defines minorities as students receiving free or reduced lunches offered by the district's nutrition program. As of now, some schools have as low as a 5% minority population, while others struggle with their 70%.
And so what this is about is the pursuit of simply better balance.
While the policy now has the support of the City Council, it just barely passed with a 4-3 vote during the last school board meeting. The election on February 5th will determine the fate of the diversity policy along with the new revenue purpose statement. Rebecca Swibes, Daily Iowan TV.
If the community does not support the proposed revenue and diversity plans during that February 5th election, the tax funds will then be given over to the state control.
And now let's take a look at what's happening outside of Iowa. A U.S. drone strike on a car outside the capital of Yemen killed at least 7 suspected al-Qaeda militants, according to the Yemeni officials. The attack took place Wednesday near the capital. Military officials say the car was destroyed and bodies could be seen burning inside the car. The United States rarely comments on its military role in Yemen.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton defended the Obama administration handling of the deadly attack on the U.S. mission in Benghazi, going against Republican critics. Clinton, as well as other officials, have testified that requests for additional security did not reach them. She stated the attacks were personal, not just for the families of the victims, but for her as well. Clinton said that the State Department is working on strengthening security at diplomatic posts worldwide.
And now for Hawkeye Sports Update, let's go to Alicia Daniez.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. The second semester is finally underway and Hawkeye athletics are heating up. The men's basketball team was in action last night against Ohio State, and the ladies are getting ready for their battle tomorrow night. This is only the start of a very busy week in Hawkeye sports. But first, let's start with the men's action as the basketball team traveled to Columbus to face the 14th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. DITV sports reporter Eric Don has the recap on last night's close defeat. Eric?
It was a tough night in Columbus last night for the Hawkeyes as they fell 72-63 to the Ohio State Buckeyes. While there are no moral victories in the Big Ten, Iowa and their fans can certainly be pleased with the fact that the Hawkeyes fought, shaving a 24-point Ohio State lead down to 4 with only a minute and a half to play. It was a tale of two halves for the Hawks, who were held to just 25% field goal percent shooting in the first half, but responded in the second, shooting 47% from the field. Ohio State, known for their stingy defense, held the Hawkeyes to 35% overall from the field, and their defensive intensity really forced Iowa's offense to struggle. Ohio State built up a 24-point lead with 12:48 left in the second half, but Iowa wouldn't go down without a fight. The Hawks' full-court press led to 17 Ohio State turnovers, which Iowa turned into 20 points. Iowa used these points off turnovers to go on a 20-5 run of their own, help closing the gap. But for the season, the Hawkeyes have made more free throws than their opponents have attempted, but it was their inability to make free throws that cost them last night as they shot 13-26 from the free throw line and let many opportunities to close the gap get away from them. The loss drops the Hawkeyes to 13-6 on the season, 2-4 in the Big Ten, but they'll have a chance to rebound as they travel to Purdue on Sunday to take on the Boilermakers. That's all. Alicia, back to you.
The women's team is coming off a big win Sunday against a ranked Purdue squad. Bluder's bunch will look to keep this win streak going as they host Wisconsin. Iowa defeated this Badger team in Madison only 2 weeks ago. DITV sports reporter Annie Costable previews tomorrow's night matchup. Annie?
Having deja vu, us here too at DI Sports as Iowa women's basketball team sets up to face off against Wisconsin for the second time in just 14 days. Now Wisconsin's coming off a huge 19-point victory over Ohio State, being led by Marion, Iowa native Morgan Page. Iowa's also coming off a big win against 11th ranked Purdue, giving Coach Bluder her 600th career win. Now Bluder mentioned that Wisconsin's past win over Ohio State is going to give her team extra focus heading into this matchup. They're really going to depend on post-game from Morgan Page, who had 23 points in the team's last meeting against Wisconsin, and also Jamie Princey and Samantha Logic in the backcourt. Now that's going to do it for me here at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Annie. Basketball isn't the only sport with a busy schedule this week. Several other Hawkeye teams are in action this coming weekend. The men's gymnastics team will participate in the Metroplex Challenge this Friday night in Fort Worth, Texas, while the Lady Gym Hawks travel to Penn State on Saturday. Both the men's and women's swimming and diving teams will take on Northwestern this Saturday in Iowa City. And we got a big wrestling meet in the Twin Cities on Saturday. The 4th-ranked Hawkeyes grapple with the number 3 Minnesotans. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night as Cody Goodwin will join us on set to preview this clash of top-ranked teams. This is certainly shaping up to be a busy weekend for all of our Hawkeye athletes. That's all for sports. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Alicia, and it should be an interesting weekend in Hawkeye sports. The launch party for Cluster Flunk will be Thursday night at 7 p.m. at Summit in downtown Iowa City. The new group on campus aims to provide a place for students to collaborate on schoolwork and projects. The group was founded in 2011 and has more than 700 likes on Facebook. According to the event page on the social media site, 209 people are planning to attend the launch party, while over 3,000 were invited.
And only with Daily Iowan can you get a sneak peek at Thursday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Read about DJs who have become part of the UI Dance Marathon tradition.
Also read an update on the first-degree murder trial of Justin Marshall.
That's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out at the same time tomorrow or anytime at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.